So, is monopolistic competition a good market structure compared with, say, well, the only one we got to compare with at the moment is perfect competition. So we said there are three grounds on which we're going to primarily look, and we may extend that a bit when we move on to oligopoly and monopoly. But initially, we're going to look at efficiency, the consumer, and the economy as a whole. So let's take efficiency. We identified, if you remember, four main types of efficiency. So one was productive efficiency. And we said that productive efficiency should be easy to remember because it's about producing efficiently. And we said that if we're at the minimum point of our average cost curve, then there'll be no waste of society's scarce resources. And remember, these efficiencies, they're not about the business. The business couldn't give us stuff for the most part because it's just aiming to maximize its profits. It's about whether they'll be good for society as a whole. So perfect competition was productively efficient. It produced where MC equals AC because it had no choice other than to minimize its costs. It was competing only on the basis of price. Well, here, we're not. In monopolistic competition, they don't compete only on price. And as a result, price is going to drift up above the minimum points of the average cost curve. And you can see that diagrammatically. If we look at the long run in monopolistic competition, at the long run equilibrium, the firm's only going to make normal profit, so we said it touches there. But we know the minimum point of the average cost curve is where it hits MC, there. So as a result, we can say that the firm's price and cost are P1, C1, whereas it would be possible, theoretically, so the firm is operating at point A, or actually I can quote point X, whereas the productively efficient output is point Y there. And as a result, costs could have been down at that level per unit. So the cost per unit is higher than it needs to be. Therefore, there is a waste of society's scarce resources. If firms were more efficient, in total, we'd be able to produce more stuff than we currently do. So, because of this lack of price competition, firms are going to be productively inefficient. What about allocative efficiency? So again, in perfect competition, firms produced at supply equals demand in the industry. There was supply, which was marginal cost. There was demand, which is marginal utility. At Q1, welfare was maximised. And firms had no choice. They were price takers. But again, in monopolistic competition, because of price making power, in monopolistic competition, firms have some price making power. As a result of which price is going to increase and output is going to go down below the allocatively efficient output. So we're not going to make all of the units that would have benefited the consumer. But the firm doesn't care because it's just interested in maximising its own profits. So what does that look like? So because of the increase in price and the reduction in output, we're going to fall below that output level. If we showed what was happening just on that perfect competition diagram, effectively what's happening is price is being pushed up to PMC monopolistic competition, output falls to Q monopolistic competition, and therefore we don't get that element of welfare there. We only get the welfare from these units, we don't get the welfare from the units between QMC and Q1. So what does that look like on the monopolistic competition diagram? Again, we'll put it into long run equilibrium. There's D, AR, there's MR, which is twice as steep. There's MC, increasing and diminishing returns. There's the profit maximising output. There's the firm's price P1. And as we said, firm in the long run just makes normal profits because there are no barriers to entry. Minimum point there. Average cost like that. The allocatively efficient output, again, we said is where demand, marginal utility, equals marginal cost. We want to produce all the units where the extra benefit shown by margin utility is greater than the extra cost. So if we produced all of those, welfare would have been this kind of slightly strange area here, like that. But we don't. The firm has price setting power. It drives up price and reduces output below the level that we would have seen if it had been perfect competition. So the firm, as we said, operates at X, but the allocatively efficient output is there where AR equals MC, which is the equivalent, or saying price equals MC, is the equivalent of kind of demand equals supply in perfect competition. And as a result of which, we don't get all the welfare that we would otherwise have got. We produce only that number of units, so we do get the welfare from all the units up to that. So we do get welfare, but there is a welfare loss of this area here. We don't produce those units between the profit maximizing output and the allocatively efficient output, and therefore that area there is the welfare loss. And just for completeness, since we've done allocative and productive efficiency, allocative is there, productive, we call that point Y there. So a firm in monopolistic competition is neither allocatively nor productively efficient, primarily because of its price setting power. The bad news, of course, is that we're only making normal profit in the long run as well. So therefore, it's not going to be dynamically efficient either. So we don't have surplus abnormal profits in the long run because there are no barriers to entry. And as a result, there's no improvement in process, so no improvement, no funds to put into ways of making things cheaper, and no improvement in product, so no innovation and so on. So it's not productively efficient, it's not allocatively efficient, and it's not dynamically efficient either. However, it will be X efficient. So there's no, it does face a lot of competition. There's no scope for what's called organisational slack and for letting overheads get out of control. So, in summary, if we were to compare perfect competition and monopolistic competition on the basis of efficiency, we said we got productive efficiency, allocative efficiency, dynamic efficiency, and X efficiency. In perfect competition, they're productively efficient, they have to drive price down to the midpoint of the average cost curve, they have to respond to consumer needs fully, so therefore they produce the socially optimal level of output. They're not dynamically efficient because there's no abnormal profit in perfect competition in the long run, and they are X efficient. If we look at monopolistic competition, then they're not productively efficient. They don't have to keep prices down to the absolute minimum level, because they're competing on other factors like kind of branding and so on. They're not allocatively efficient because they're price setting power. They're not dynamically efficient because there's no barriers to entry in the long run, but they are X efficient.